One of the Caribbean's most popular tourist and scuba diving destinations are the Cayman Islands. While a handful of shipwrecks here complement natural coral reefs, divers on the main island of Grand Cayman longed for a big new shipwreck of their own. Their prayers were answered with the long-awaited arrival of the USS Kittiwake.
We picked the Kittiwake from a fleet of about 300 ships that were in mothball. We toured a lot of the ships. This ship was a great ship because it had a great history in the Caribbean already. It served some time in the Falkland Islands, recovered the black box, the Challenger explosion. So it had a good history. It's only going to be 15 feet from the surface, so you're going to have a lot of beautiful snorkeling adventures, and then also diving adventures are going to be endless dives.
The day before the sinking, ex-sailors and tourists were allowed to visit the retired submarine rescue vessel. It had been nearly 30 years since former navigator John Gladstein set foot on the ship.
When was the last time you did that, David?
It's been a while. Let's go back to the recompression chambers. All right, these are the recompression chambers. This had a hatch. There's the hatch here and there, and they could decompress this side, leaving the inside at full compression, and pass supplies in and out, whatever they needed to do. People in and out, whatever they needed to do. Making an artificial reef out of a thing like this, rather than reclaiming the steel, I don't know the science, but it seems obvious to me that it's better. This ship was always intended to serve divers, and this ship existed to serve divers. And it's great that she's going to continue to serve divers.
For project manager Nancy Easterbrook, the Kittiwake endeavor was a labor of love. It wasn't always a smooth process, but finally getting the ship to the bottom safely and upright would be a huge relief.
Tomorrow we're finally going to sink her. I've been elated by this project, frustrated by it. I have been overjoyed and all kinds of other things, but the only thing that's ever really scared me is to get her on her spot down in the ocean, upright where she's supposed to go. But you know, we got good people doing this. All precautions have been taken, so I'm really very excited about tomorrow and cannot wait until we get her down in the bottom as the new diving attraction and snorkeling attraction for the Cayman Islands.
The sinking of the Kittiwake was a unique project. Unlike artificial reefs in Canada and Florida, the ship had to be sunk without the use of explosives. The Cayman Islands are one big marine park, and the sinking site was shallow and close to shore. The percussion of explosive charges can kill fish and other reef creatures in the vicinity of the sinking. So instead of using explosives, the ship had to be flooded manually. Strategically placed holes, both for flooding and for diver access, were cut along the side of the hull. Early on sink day, the hull of the Kittiwake was flooded. Heavy pumps filled the ship with seawater as curious onlookers started to gather for the big event. Once the surrounding sea started to overflow the newly cut holes, the ship went down very quickly. Just minutes after sinking, a few divers were allowed underwater to take a look. The ship landed almost perfectly upright, a great relief to project organizers. Not surprisingly, small fish immediately moved on board, using the superstructure as shelter. And not long behind them, big predators like this barracuda ventured onto the ship. In a short period of time, the Kittiwake would become one of the top attractions in the Cayman Islands, both for fish and for tourists. Just 4 years after sinking, the Kittiwake has become an enormously popular scuba diving and snorkeling attraction. Each day, countless visitors embarked for the short boat ride to the sinking site. The ship was placed on the lee side of the island where calm seas prevail.
All right, you guys, well, welcome to the ex-USS Kittiwake. The ex-USS Kittiwake was an old Navy submarine salvage vessel that was part of the U.S. Navy fleet. So it was there to assist the submarines if they ever needed any sort of help, if they were stuck in mid-water.
Whether you're a novice and just starting out, or an advanced tech or wreck diver, the Kittiwake has proven to be an amazing success story.
The feedback from the Kittiwake dive is second to none. Because it's so diverse, we get people who are brand new divers to people who've dived a lot. They always say how fantastic a dive the Kittiwake is, how accessible it is. This is the best wreck to start your wreck diving career on.
Diving shipwrecks can sometimes be a challenge. Poor visibility, currents, and depth can all be deterrents to an enjoyable and safe dive. But not on the Kittiwake.
I've had the good fortune to dive a lot of wrecks around the globe, and I mean, this wreck has everything. It's in shallow water, good visibility. I got to really take my hat off to the people that handled the things like the swim-throughs and the cutouts. They just did a fabulous job.
I've dived lots of wrecks of different sites around the Caribbean, and this one is so accessible to all levels of divers. It's been very well thought out. You can do full penetration there and not even worry about it. It's lovely and open, and it's just so diverse for every level of diving.
The Kittiwake is a great dive, first of all, because all of the rooms are very large and very open, and they're all set up so when you go in through one room, you can just kind of keep going straight all the way through the entire shipwreck. It's good for all different levels of divers.
The Kittiwake doesn't just attract divers and snorkelers. Nearby coral reefs are so close that marine life moves freely on and off the wreck. Baitfish, large predators, and countless species have colonized the ship. It has created a vibrant artificial reef.
I was here for the sinking in 2011, and to see it now 4 years later with lots of fish life, coral growing on it, sponges growing on it, the Kittiwake is an amazing success story.
The economy of the Cayman Islands depends largely on tourism, and a big percentage of visitors to the islands are divers. Hotels and guest facilities host thousands of scuba enthusiasts every year. Ari Barendrecht is the owner and operator of Cobalt Coast.
For Cayman, we now do have the Kittiwake, and for many people it's the very first time that they experience a wreck, and I call it the happy wreck. With gigantic holes on the sides, you can sail through, and I think where people here, they go through their first wreck, they remember things like that. If I look at the numbers to what the wreck has produced, divers as well as snorkelers, everyone who stays here dives the Kittiwake, so that's a big plus.
The Kittiwake, it's done exactly what it was designed to do. It was to put Cayman on the map for more diversity than just wall diving, but also create business for the dive companies, which it has done. We rarely had afternoon dives here at Dive Tech, but now we're out at the Kittiwake, especially just 3 times a week every afternoon. People want to do it, and they do it over and over and over again.
It has been the greatest thing I think the Department of Tourism and government has done in the last couple of years for our tourism industry, our dive lodges, our dive operators. Tremendous plus.
The Cayman Islands Tourism Association and the government, along with partnering dive shops and sponsors, worked for years to help make the Kittiwake project a reality. Their hard work has paid off in spades.
4 years later, the government's definitely happy with the result. Economically, the Kittiwake has been a fantastic boom for both the water sports industry and for tourism in general.
I love it. Having dived a lot of wrecks, I think the Kittiwake is probably the #1 wreck that I've dived on in the Caribbean for sure.
In January 2016, the Cayman Islands will celebrate the 5th anniversary of the Kittiwake sinking. This hugely popular attraction will undoubtedly see thousands of more scuba divers and snorkelers in the years to come. With a little luck, perhaps a new ship will join the Kittiwake soon. Show your support of artificial reefs and the businesses that help make them happen.